Hey guys, so I just finished getting out of the shower and I ended up popping off this nail because I am back to using peel base over 2 dips of clear. So I figure I come on here and just quickly show you how I pop my nails off. So first off, what I do is I just take any file. So I use this one from Rebel Nail and I do what's called breaking the seal. So I pretty much am going around the sides, the free edge, and just kind of around because I used a gel top coat on these nails, and this is just making sure to break that seal of the gel top coat because I really make sure to go around the edges and the free edge. And then what I'm doing next is I'm going to take these old cuticle nippers, so they're not really good anymore. I think they lost like their sharpness, which is perfect for this. And what I like to do is I like to put it underneath the side, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna try and get up close. And when you do this for a while, you kind of get a feel for where you can put it in. I know it sounds really wrong, but yeah, so I use a tip and I kind of push it in there. And if I feel like I don't have a good enough break on the seal, I just go around. Sometimes I file over top just to find where that peel base and that clear dip is. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice, but boom, once you find it and you get in there, you can pop that off super easily. I didn't hurt anything. I have no redness on my skin. And now on to the next one. So you can see right there, there's kind of a little gap. And that's where I put the point of it in. And I like to try and get it off in one go if I can. But if I can't, instead of continuously using this to pop it off, I just take an orange wood stick and I kind of shove it under there so that I'm not like pulling off anything. So I'm lifting it off and I can feel that it's gripping onto certain parts. So I'm just gonna file over here and then just file around the edges again. Take this part and I'm pretty much just trying to get it all the way to the tip and then boom, just like that. I do have a little bit of residue here as you can see, but all I do is just file it off and then those nails are good to go. So I'm gonna keep doing that. So you're gonna take the tip and you're gonna kind of shove it under there. And even though it's pretty much almost off, it's holding on to something, which is right there if you see that little crack. So I'm just gonna go back in and file the other side for good measure. And then go back under. Still holding on, but that's fine. So sometimes it doesn't come off in a full piece and I just keep going around. So right here you can see that it's like gripping onto the tip because I didn't break the seal good enough. So I'm just gonna go back in with the file the tip, file the sides again, and then I'm just gonna try and keep shoving my orange wood stick in there until it comes off. And there we go. So it lifted up the tip because I guess I didn't put peel base good enough there. Happens sometimes. And then for this part, I'm just gonna try and get under there with my tool. There we go. So normally what I do with this finger, since it lifted off a decent amount, I'm probably just gonna soak that off and then re-dip it in clear. You don't have to, you can file off all the lifting and just go in with your next, or go in with more clear. But, boom. So that's just a little bit of extra peel base right there. Boom, so we only have one casualty, so right there, and all I do is I take one of these little clips instead of having to soak my entire hand, I just need to do one finger. So I'm just going to take this little piece of a cotton round and some acetone, wherever that is. I'm gonna take this little piece, get my acetone, and I'm gonna thoroughly saturate this little piece. And then I'm just gonna put it over the nail and let that soak off. Now while that's soaking, I'm just going to come back in and reshape my nails a little bit, just in case they lost a little bit of its shape. Oh, excuse me. So how I like to shape my nails is I take the edge of the file and kind of hook it under, because I don't know if you can tell, but there's kind of like a little wonky spot. You probably can't see that on camera, but I just like to hook it under the nail like this and hold my file straight up and down. So not this way, because that's how you get that rounded look. So I just hook it under first and then I file straight up and down. And that gets me that super crisp side walls. And then same thing with the pinky. You can see the shaping is not perfect, so it's really hard with this other finger. Sometimes I hold it on something. Let me get my little finger stand. So sometimes I will prop it on something like this, and like I said, hook it under and then file straight up and down. Just like that. Hook it under like this, and then straight up and down. And then I go across the free edge. So just pretty much just trying to make my side walls as straight as possible, just like that. And then there's those nails. And then same thing for my thumb. My thumb's a little wonky, so hook it under. This light's in my way. So you take your nail, you're gonna hook it under and get that side wall nice and straight. Hook it under. And get the tip. And that's how I get my shape. And then we're gonna check on this nail just to see how much of that clear acrylic has soaked off. So it looks like a lot of it is off. I'm just gonna take whatever acetone is left on there just to rub off any more of that clear acrylic. You don't have to take off 100% of it because you're gonna go back in with more, but I just wanted to make sure that all that lifting was taken care of. So now that that's taken care of, I'm just gonna go in and shape this nail really quick. Get the tip. And then since there's still a little bit of acrylic over top, I'm just gonna try and get a little bit more of that. So you can see that's where the clear acrylic is. A little bit more acetone, and then I'm just gonna wipe off whatever excess I can. Try and get as much of that off as possible. Like I said, you don't have to take off all of it, but a good majority of it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna take an orange buffer just to kind of get off those fluffies. I don't like to buff my natural nails or file my natural nails just because I've caused a lot of damage in the past, so I prefer not to. And there you go. So now I'm just gonna continue to prep. take a little bit more of that acetone just to wipe off any excess. Okay, and I'm gonna start on my ring nail because I obviously want to do my clear dip over that first to protect the nails. So I always start off with alcohol and a dehydrator. So I'm just gonna take a piece of a lint-free napkin, spray it with some alcohol just to clean off any oils or anything like that. And then sometimes, to be extra sure that everything is prepped well, I will go in with a toothbrush or any kind of stiff brush just to get up in every nook and cranny I can to make sure it is nice and clean. And then I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. While I'm letting that dry, I actually use Sparkle & Co.'s DP90 Crystal Clear as my clear base because I find that this clear doesn't lift on me as quickly as other brands do. So this one I actually have glitter and everything in because this is also what I use to encapsulate my glitters. So that's why there's like little particles of glitter and stuff in here. But what I'm gonna do next is I also use this dehydrator or pH prep from Sparkle & Co. And I just take a little bit and I put it over my entire nail just to make sure everything is nice and dehydrated so that the clear base lasts really well. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with my clear dips, and I use Triple Vitamins base. This has been my recent super favorite base because of the smell. So I get dip flu really bad, and Revel gave me the worst dip flu, which is obviously not the product or the brand's fault. It's just my own specific respiratory system doesn't really like it. But I have found that this brand's liquids give me the least amount of reaction, so that's why I like it, and I like the consistency. So I'm just gonna apply my clear base. So that's it. And I'm just gonna lightly dust off the excess. And then I'm quickly gonna go in with my activator, and I use Revel's activator. So I do one really quick one, let it dry for a sec, and then go back in for more. And then I'm gonna let that dry. Alrighty, so now that that is nice and dry, I'm gonna start off with my sidewalls. And then I'm gonna file over the entire nail to make sure it is nice and smooth. So I make sure to go around the cuticle area to make sure it is nice and flush. Okay, so the trick to making peel base work really well is to use a super fine buffer and buff the surface of your clear base really smooth. So the smoother you make it, the better the peel base will work for you. So for some reason, I'm still not 100% sure why, but peel base lasts longer on my right hand than it does on my left hand. So I have a mani under my gloves right now, that I haven't posted yet, so I won't show you guys, but I did both of these nails at the same time. Actually, I think I did this hand first, and then I did this hand, and then I popped both of them off, and then I redid both of them at the same time too. And yeah, so for some reason this hand I had 2 nails pop off. I believe it was my pointer and my pinky in like 2 days, but this hand is still going strong. I haven't had any issues. It's my dominant hand, so I'm really surprised that nothing has popped off yet. But yeah, so this is what it's looking like right now, and I'm just gonna give it a quick spray with alcohol just to cleanse everything, get rid of all the dust. And then all I have to do next is apply my peel base, let it dry, and then I'm ready to do my next set.